Hello, everyone. This is Christopher Levecki with Kaiser University's College of Golf, Advanced Teaching Instruction, and today we will be discussing the grip, one of our most important aspects to swinging the golf club, right? So we have posture placement, a couple things we're going to look for today as we are going to review a neutral grip. We have a few others that players tend to use. Some people have preferences, and we'll go over those as well. But what we want to focus right now in today's lesson is going to be on the neutral grip. So starting off with our lead hand, what we want to do is make sure the butt of the club and the grip are sitting in our what we call lifeline here. So we don't want it in the palm of the hand, right? We want it underneath the palm. And what we actually want to be able to do is see if we could balance this club, right? We take the rest of our fingers off. So we know that our club face is balanced here, and this is, you're not going to get that here. All right. So a lot of what happens is that amateurs, beginners, keep it in their palm, or depending if you don't have the right grip size on your club or the right grip in your hand, this is going to move around a lot. Okay. So we really don't want that to happen. So that's the first thing to look for. Next is we want to check and make sure that our index and thumb, right, are connected. So we have this little line here. We're seeing that these are connected. That's the next thing to look for. We don't want it obviously spaced out like that. There's a disconnect. We need everything to be, nice and in place. So that's what to look for, the two things to look for on our lead hand. Next, what we're going to do is take our trail hand, and we want to match basically the palm up into the thumb, right? So really, like, kind of, we're bringing these, we're bringing the hands together, and they're unifying in this sense. One club, one hand, one body, right? So we're doing everything we can to keep them connected. And then the same is going to be for your trail arm. We want to make sure that there's the connection here within our hands. And we have the thumb and the index touching, lined up correctly, right? Okay. See that? Now, the last thing, and this might vary depending on, the size of your hands, the size of your grip, um, other preferences, is that we have interlock and then we have overlap grips. There's also 10 finger, which you'll see a lot of beginners and amateurs use. Kids will use it, kind of like a baseball grip. We try to, want to not encourage that so much. I went from overlap to interlock. So these are just things you got to find out and preference. I've also, you know, have increased the size of my grips. I went to Jumbo Max. I was using mid-size grips, and those were actually affecting my grip placement, position, posture. So a couple other things to look for. But in this case, we're going to want to decide what we like more. Do we want to be overlapped or do we want to be interlocked, right? Or if, again, we're kids, some with smaller hands, maybe this is the option for you. As long as you're hitting good shots, that's what we're looking for, right? All right, so again, those things to look for is we got our lifeline here. We could check by balancing the club, right? Then next, we want to make sure our thumb and index, right, are lined up. Then from there, right hand, go form that pocket, right? Kind of a pocket here. Connect these two. Make sure that, like we're doing in the right hand, the lead arm, we're doing in the trail arm hand, with our thumb and our index being together. And then check if you've got your interlock or your overlap. Right? Okay, so those. Now look what it does. This gives me square face to the target line, to my ball. Also encouraging our flat lead wrist. So look where we are at impact here. Right, we've created this wall. Now with a strong or a weak grip, and I was going to mention as well, is that checking the size of your hands, checking your preference, what feels good, because a weak or a strong grip could force your hand to, directionally rotate, um, and you might wind up with a weak or a stronger grip depending on the size of those grips, depending on the size of your hand. Something to look for, something that I changed. I now have these Jumbo Max grips, and I went to an interlock. The overlap with the smaller grips and then offset clubs was causing my ball to draw and hook too much. So I had to mitigate that, and now I found the right size grips after testing a few with the Jumbo Max, and it's giving me that neutral grip, that square setup, that ready for impact flat lead wrist. Also, consistency of grip. Every time we go up and we set up, you got to make sure you're doing it at the same time. You're not going to have the same lie every time, but your grip can be the same. You're not going to have the same shot shape, so that all depends. But if your grip, at least you have that, that the chances, if even with a miss hit, you're going to have, you're facing the right direction. That hand is going to be guiding that. I mean, it's an extension of our arms, or our hands. So this is why we're encouraging our neutral grip. Um, you know, some people have stronger, some people have weaker, some people, interlock, overlap. So these things work, but overall, you know, this really kind of where you can look for, because if I have a strong grip, right, it can wind up here. And then, if I have a weak grip, it could actually wind up too far out of this placement. So just a couple things to look out for. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. That covers our lesson on the grip. Hopefully you could watch this over, uh, rehearse it. Even pre-swing, you could always just make these checks. So we've got, 5 checkpoints that we're looking for. 2 in the left, and then 3 in the right, the one connecting them. Making sure that everything's acting as one, and we're really everything's being connected, right? All right, great. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon in our next lesson.